Jared Polin, Fro Knows Photo.com, here with another Flickr photo of the week. This week we have a photo from Jason Colak. Jason, how you doing?
Doing well. How you doing, Jared?
I'm doing good. So where are you from?
I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Uh-oh, another Canadian. Here we go again. The last Canadian guy gave me a lot of crap.
We guys talked forever too.
We do. I like Canadians. There's nothing. I love Canadians. I love Toronto. It's one of the coolest places I've been. I like it.
Awesome.
Well, I like the women there too. They're very nice looking.
Oh yeah, I just spent a month in Montreal. So if you ever spend some time there too, you'll know it's even better than Toronto.
Is it really? We will have to make
they have
a
Fro. Joie de vivre.
We'll make a Fro meet up there in Montreal so we can see the women.
Sounds good.
All right. Anyway, so we have this photo here. Is this your son?
This is my son. This is the reason I take a lot of pictures these days.
Which is a good. Well, it's good to have subjects, right?
Exactly.
All right. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how you made this and what you shot it with and your settings? Sure.
So I took this picture one day actually after watching a video that you did on using using a flash in, kind of adjusting your settings to compensate for the background, etc. So I just came home. I was kind of inspired, wanted to take some shots. I took some with the flash, and then I started taking pictures without the flash. I kind of liked the lighting that was coming in. This is really a low light shot. I bought a Canon 7D after my son was born. I used to have a Rebel XT, and I decided, I want to take some better low light shots. So this is at ISO 2000 and f2.8 at 1/100th of a second. Usually when I take a picture of my son, I try to go faster than 1/100th of a second because he moves around so much. But I got lucky. He just got mesmerized by whatever was on TV at the time. He was eating, and you could just tell by his hands. He was just completely kind of calm and staring at something. So I got lucky with 1/100th of a second.
That's really good. It's a really solid image. It's nice and sharp. The color's nice, and it's better off without the flash most of the time. I mean, I primarily shoot without the flash. I just like the natural settings more so than trying to balance light. I mean, I'm not the greatest at doing it with off-camera flash. Put me in the studio, I could set up those lights or direct somebody to set up the lights, but it's not it's not my way of personally shooting. But is this cropped?
This one, so I took a whole bunch of pictures while we were sitting there, focused on his eye, so the eye that was closest to me. And this one in particular, actually, I did crop slightly because I realized what happened, as you're just snapping away, I had the focus point almost every time, just kind of resetting it on his eye. And I didn't reframe. I kind of went up slightly, just slightly up. So what I did was I tweaked it and took just a fraction off the top, just so it seems more symmetrical. But I had some other ones from the set that I wouldn't have needed to crop, but I felt that this one I was pretty happy with, just because again his hands are so relaxed, his fingers are so relaxed. Looking at it again, this picture in particular, I love it, but there's some things that eat away at me from time to time. Like if I had recropped it, lowered my camera just a little bit, I would have had a bit more of his hands. Like right now I feel it's a little too kind of cut. I almost cut off his fingers. I don't exactly.
It's close.
And then also his ear on the right is kind of, I probably could have been more on the left, less on the right. But to be honest, I was really just focused on his eyes, and I love he has really long eyelashes, and his eyes are very, like they reflect the light really well.
Sure.
So in his eyes, you could see kind of like the windows and stuff. And yeah, so I just love it. There's some things that aren't perfect about it, but I just really liked it.
Which lens was it?
So this is a 17 to 55 Canon, 2.8 USM IS. This is what they call, I guess, the L lens that isn't an L lens. So camera, that's the pro lens line. But I hear that Canon just doesn't like calling a lens it's made for the crop body, so for the crop sensor, and then apparently they don't like calling those L lenses. So,
that's a great
but
lens.
It's got the same glass as the 24. Yeah.
Did you have IS on?
I did not on this one. No. I'm not sure about IS yet. I'm trying to take kind of comparative pictures, see when I want it. I think when I go slower than 1/100th of a second, I like turning it on. But when it's not on, I've done kind of side by side comparisons, and I don't know if it's just because the servo motors are working or whatever is going on, but I find that it's not quite as sharp. I mean, it's sharp. Don't get me wrong, especially in the slower settings. But if you IS on, IS off when you're a little bit faster, I with my side-by-side comparisons, I feel like they're not. It's maybe not quite as sharp.
Sure. I mean, that also when you shoot quickly, if you try to engage it and then shoot pretty quick, it sometimes doesn't kick in right away. Mm. But I mean, this is as sharp as it can be. And you're right with the composition. Probably would have thrown him off to the right a little more, like you just said. So put him all the way to the right, which leads him into the left a little more for the leading lines. But it doesn't bother me at all. It honestly doesn't bother me because you captured the moment that you captured, and I wouldn't personally nitpick it to death over the ear being cut off where it is, because I go right to the eyes, and then I move over and go, oh, okay, I could see that the framing could have been a little different, but you know what? It's a solid picture regardless, and there's no reason to fully nitpick it to death. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, there's just learning stuff, right, for the next time. So then I took another picture. So on my photo stream, there's another picture that I took where I really I changed my angle a little bit, a little more face on, like more of a 45 degree. And I got to, kind of fill the frame with his face. And then, so I learned from this one the next day and, really tackled it. I mean, the one thing about taking pictures of infants is to fill the frame, you have to be really, really close. Just before this, he was actually reaching out and trying to grab my lens. I'm at so it's it goes to 55 mils, this lens, and my focal length is 42, so I'm almost fully zoomed out, and I'm still not filling the frame. So because their heads are so small, it's hard to really kind of get them in there all the way. So you're right up there, and then that distracts them. So he's usually reaching for it, but then I guess I don't know, the Backyardigans or something the theme song started going, and then he was distracted for a second. So I got to freeze the moment.
What other lenses do you have?
I have a 70-200 f4 Canon L lens, and then I have a 1 prime lens, a 50 mil 1.4, and I still have my Sigma 18-55 that I keep on the Rebel XT body, and I use this lens on my 7D, and one of my Rebel XT actually my wife is learning to shoot now too, so it's a great. I mean, it served me well for about 4 years, and now my wife is learning how to shoot too, so it's great.
No, that's really cool. And the 70-200 f4 is nice. You'll love the 2.8 when you go up to that one, especially as your son gets older.
Yeah.
For sports, is he going to play hockey?
He's going to play basketball. I'm a big. I watch all sports. I'm a big hockey fan. I'm actually a Habs fan, even though I live in Toronto. I grew up in Montreal. But I'm a big Raptors fan and basketball. And just finding ice time in the city, I hear, is a nightmare. So why go through the trouble? And basketball is just a pair of shoes and a ball, right?
It's because hockey's so awesome.
Hey, don't get me. I played hockey. I love it too. But I don't know. I think basketball will be pretty easy for him. And he's big. He's a tall kid, so I could see him. He could be a good defenseman too.
Yeah, Chris Pronger.
That's right.
Great defenseman. No, I mean, either way you go, it's just the especially for running around outside, that 70-200, even for the backyard, for in the snow, for at the park, as he starts running around, the 70-200, well, the 2.8 is going to be even better than the f4. The f4 is good. They surprisingly call that an L lens. Right?
Well, I actually talked to a few. No, that one definitely is an L lens, magnesium body, all that kind of stuff. But I talked to some folks. I thought about upgrading 2.8, and they said unless you go to the 2.8 IS, apparently the f4 is actually sharper than the 2.8.
Yeah, the original 2.8. I mean, they've got the VR1. The IS, and then the IS, the new one, the version 2. That's beautiful.
That one's great.
But if you could find one of those refurbed or used, that's going to be really good. I mean, that's the best way to buy glass. And I love the 2.8. That lens is fast as can be. I shot with the version 2 recently, and it's a sharp, fast, colorful lens. I mean, the lenses on Canon side are great. The L lenses, most of them are great. The 24-70 is one that everybody cries about because they want a second one. They actually found that lens gets worse as it gets older.
Oh, okay.
The longer you have it, the more the focus starts to fall off.
Well, I'm glad I really kind of struggled when I decided between the the 17 to 55 and the 24 to 70, which is an L lens. I kind of jump back and forth, and even after I bought the 17 to 55, I kind of laid awake at night wondering if I made a mistake and if I should box it up and exchange it.
No, not at all.
I did a lot of research, and for this camera, because I figured I'm not going to go to a full sensor. I just bought the 7D in January, so it's not even a year old, and I'm probably going to have it for at least 4 or 5 years. So and then at that point, will I even go full frame? I don't know. And if I do, there'll probably be another version of the 2470 anyway. So I figured get the best lens for the camera you have, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, and what I suggest to people is when you get the when you have the DX sensors or whatever, the kind of AP, what do they call that thing? The S,
I don't know.
Whatever. When you have the S
HS
lenses,
or
yeah,
EC or something. Yeah.
You buy the long lenses, the regular lenses. You don't need to buy the DX ones of those, or the EFS as they call them. But when you're going wide angle, you want to get the better wide lenses because 24 to 70 isn't wide enough on a crop sensor. So
right.
The 17 to 55 is a perfect lens. I used to own that on the Nikon end when we only had DX. That was a great. I mean, that's a great lens. That's awesome. I mean, that's gonna be great for parties inside. In combination with your 70 to 200, those two lenses are gonna serve you for quite a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love them, and I've just been recently kind of upgrading those. I just got a new flash too this weekend. Actually, I just bought I used to have I still do have a Sigma flash. I'm going to keep that as a second flash, but now I bought a Canon, the new Speedlight, the 580 EX2, and it's just great. So what I've done is I've set that up because I take most of my pictures inside in my condo. And this flash I've set up in a corner or an area of the room where I'd act as kind of, for lack of a better term, a big lamp. And I put one of those Gary Fong kind of bulbs on it, and it works kind of wireless with the 7D. Works really well. And so, some mornings I just go and I start snapping away, and it's just an extra light source. So between that and the lenses and everything, and I do most of my pictures inside, and that's why I really needed a 17 mil, because I don't have room in the condo to really back up far enough with a crop sensor to take the 24 mil. Yeah, and
it's just looking back at the picture again, you captured a really amazing moment, and it's sharp as can be on the eye. It's just gonna be a cool photo you're gonna have for a long time.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it.
I like it a lot. So you edited the raw file, I'm assuming?
I did everything raw and Lightroom. So I did a couple of things. I basically, when I import a picture, I go right to the strong contrast curve instead of always adding contrast. Start with the strong contrast curve and then maybe add a bit of contrast afterwards. I added a graduated filter on the left to just darken that side because I figured I just want to really, really kind of make the face pop.
Yeah.
So I kind of added, and that's easy as can be. Just kind of drag that thing over and bam, just it really focused on the face and added contrast, added a bit of clarity, and that was it.
No, it's very nice. I really think you did a great job with that, especially focusing right on the eye. That's exactly where it goes.
Yeah, the only thing I wasn't sure when I first kind of finished my post-production, I never know about white balance and was it too warm or not. And then I kind of liked it. So I put it up on the Fro forum and got some great, asked people, is it too dark, is it too warm? And feedback came back, good. 'Cause sometimes you never know, right? Is it because you can't see the forest from the trees, you stare at it all the time, you're editing the picture, you can't remember where it started from, let alone, maybe you're just too wrapped in it. So I step away, I come back. In the forum is fantastic. You have a really good community you've been building there, and the people were really nice. And yeah, that's so. Anyways, they said this for them was good. So I'm actually, the more I look at it, the more I like the warmth.
I mean, it comes down to personal preference with most things, and it comes down to what you like, and you were in the situation, so you know what it looked like. You could always take out a little green and just see what happens. Add some magenta, but there's nothing wrong with it at all.
Well, and it's funny because I talk to people about white balance all the time. It's nice at work, actually. I work in the software industry, so I'm not. But a lot of people are into photography, and so we talk about this stuff. And really what it comes down to with white balance is it's a creative choice sometimes too, right? It's a personal preference. Sometimes even though you may be a little colder in the environment, you may want to add a bit of warmth, and it looks good, right? I mean, ultimately, it's all down to interpretation. Yeah.
Like when you're outside and it's a cold day and everybody looks cold, just a little bit of yellow will pump it up and just change the image. And that's why we do white balance later, and you don't worry about it in the camera because it's something that the raw file allows you to tweak later. And
Oh, yeah.
that, in my opinion, that's one of the reasons, not one of the reasons for shooting RAW, but just is one of the benefits of shooting RAW. And there's many benefits, as we all know of.
Right. No, I'm a big advocate of RAW, and I do kind of set my my white balance on the camera just so I have a decent starting point. Like, if it's shady or cloudy or sunny, I usually start there instead of just always having it automatic. Because sometimes I find it distracting when it really didn't get it right in the camera. I mean, like the camera didn't interpret the white balance right. So I do that as a personal preference. But yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want after when it's in RAW.
Sure. Any other questions before we wrap it on up?
No, not about this in particular, but I am looking forward to your. I know you mentioned that you guys are doing, you and Greg, something on Flash and talking about Flash a whole week on that, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm particularly thinking about fill Flash, like outside. The thing I have the hardest with right now is bright sunny days, and really kind of considering using my Flash during sunny days to kind of fill those shadows under the eyes and the nose to make the less harsh, on the face.
Yeah, we're going to be working on more than just a whole week. It's going to be a whole basically course on everything Flash, from on-camera Flash to taking it off camera to multiple flashes to what diffusers you can use to posing. It's going to basically be a whole course. We're probably going to sell the thing, but it's going to include probably many hours of video. So it's not going to be just a book. There will be written portions, but it's going to be tied in with literally photo shoots, walking you through how everything is done. It's going to be just extended versions of the little videos that we've made, just because that we feel is the best way to help people learn.
Yeah, no, it's I've been self-learning quite a bit on those things, but Flash is the one that still has me a little bit, or lighting, not taking advantage of the natural light, but creating your own lighting and making your own light play and shadow and stuff. It still has. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around it right now. Kind of in that phase of photography where I'm not just taking snapshots. I kind of understand the technical aspects of it now, so I'm kind of getting comfortable and having fun with it. But that's just sort of the natural, whatever's around, and I'm seeing the light and I'm taking pictures of that. But creating my own light environment kind of it kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah, but it's always something to work on.
Absolutely.
All right, Jason, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah. This was great. Thanks, Jared.
All right, no problem. So, guys, this has been another Flickr Photo of the Week. So be sure to join the Flickr Photo Group of that growing community over there on Flickr. Add your photo to the group. I do try to get in there, and I do select all the photos for the Flickr Photo Group from there, as well as leave comments from time to time and criticism on people's work. Also, check out the forum that Jason was talking about, and you can always put up your pictures there to have other people take a look at. So, Jason, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Jared.
All right, you're welcome. Jared Poland, Fro Knows Photo.com. See ya.